So what we have are Guyanese businesses who have been renting their places to Chinese to open markets. There, we can do very little about that because when you own your property, we can't tell you
who to rent to.
Right.
Picture this. You're in Georgetown, sipping Mobby, scrolling through rental listings, and it hits you. Why does every for rent sign look like it belongs above a chow mein counter? Well, Guyana's Vice President, Dr. Barrett Jagdeo, just dropped a line that's stirring the pot. We cannot dictate who Guyanese rent their properties to. And before you think this is just a Guyana thing, oh no, this is a Caribbean-wide conversation. From Jamaica to Trinidad, Barbados to the Bahamas, small islands and big economies alike are wrestling with the same questions. Who's buying up the land? Who's renting the shops? And when does foreign investment become foreign control? Now, before we dig into the economics, the culture clashes, and the Friday night fried rice versus roti debate, hit that like button if you believe property rights matter. Comment your thoughts on foreign investment in the Caribbean. And subscribe for bold, no-nonsense island conversations where politics meets pepper sauce. All right, let's get into it.
Amid calls from some business operators for government intervention, the vice president made it clear that property owners have a legal right to lease their spaces as they see fit, including to foreign nationals.
So what we have are Guyanese businesses who have been renting their places to Chinese to open markets. There, we can do very little about that because when you own your property, we can't tell you
Who to rent to.
Right, that's one.
Jagdio shared a personal example from a recent visit to Diamond East Bank, Demerara, where he noticed a Chinese supermarket near the new regional hospital, a development that initially raised eyebrows.
And it irked me. I said, how come this is a prime spot? Why would we give it to Chinese to open a supermarket here? Guyanese could do this. So we went back, I came back, and I found out. You know, the land, we gave it to Guyanese through a business proposal. They then own the land now and they rented it. They got it to open a business there. And now once they get the title, there's very little we can do.
Right. While respecting landlords' rights, Jagdio stressed that foreign business operators, including Chinese, must obey Guyanese law. He noted rising concerns that some of these businesses may be evading taxes or operating without the required license.
So I made it clear that our position is if you come to our country and our people are paying taxes and they have to get the requisite permission to sell, you have to comply with the law. And if you're inducing some GRA official or someone else, then that has to change. So we have had a crackdown to ensure that they have that they're paying taxes. Mm-hmm. Some of them are still duping the taxes.
He specifically referenced supermarkets selling alcohol without a license and warned that enforcement agencies are monitoring such breaches.
For example, if they sell beers in a supermarket, you have to get a license to sell alcohol too. Mm-hmm. You can't just, the Guyanese man would have to get a license to sell alcohol. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at that. So the same rules must apply to everyone.
Jagdio also issued a warning to any government officials aiding non-compliant businesses. If anyone in the GRA or elsewhere is being influenced, that has to stop, he warned. Beyond enforcement, Jagdio used the opportunity to challenge Guyanese business owners to modernize their operations, particularly in how they serve customers.
But you know, they open late. If we need a screw, we could run over to the shop. If we need something there, so they're providing a service because our people want to close at 6 o'clock. And they're working until 8 or 9, maybe when people coming home from work. So we need to also adjust the way we do business, our locals.
Chinese businesses, Guyanese landlords, and why your new neighbor might just be from halfway across the world. Jagdio's words come at a time when Chinese-owned businesses are everywhere in Guyana. Supermarkets, restaurants, gold mining operations, construction companies, you name it. Some folks see this as progress, fresh capital, jobs, and more variety at the dinner table. Let's be real. The average Guyanese household has probably eaten more chow mein in the last decade than in the previous 50 years combined. But others? They're worried. Local shops are getting priced out. Small business owners can't keep up with the bulk buying power of foreign companies. Towns are changing faster than a rainy season pothole appears. And Jagdeo isn't blind to this. He's made it clear. Something has to be done to help Guyanese compete with the Chinese businesses. He knows that if local entrepreneurs don't have the tools, training, or capital to step up, the economic benefits won't trickle down, and communities risk being pushed to the sidelines in their own country. So while he defends property rights and a free market, Jagdeo is also sounding the alarm. Opening the doors isn't enough if the locals can't keep pace. His stance is straightforward. Property rights are property rights. If you own a property and want to rent it out, whether to a family from Linden, a fisherman from Suriname, or a businessman from Beijing, that's your business. The government's not in the business of policing who rents your space. But here's where it gets juicy. Guyana's foreign relations add another layer to this story. Traditionally, Guyana has had a close allegiance to the USA, politically, economically, and diplomatically. This relationship influences everything from trade deals to security partnerships and, yes, even business climates. So while China's presence grows on the ground, the U.S. remains a strong ally behind the scenes, making Guyana a sort of diplomatic balancing act between East and West. And it's not just Guyana. Across the Caribbean, investors from China, the U.S., Canada, Europe, and the Middle East are all lining up to get a piece of the action. Whether it's beachfront hotels in Jamaica, fishing licenses in the Bahamas, or farmland in Trinidad, the question remains the same. How do we welcome investment without losing control? Guyana's oil boom has turned this sleepy South American Caribbean hybrid into one of the fastest growing economies in the world. And with growth comes attention. Attention attracts investors. Investors bring competition. And competition? Well, that brings culture shifts, language mix-ups, and the occasional debate over whether your new neighbor will invite you for pepper pot or Peking duck at Christmas. So, here's the big question. Is this the natural flow of a healthy, globalized economy? Or should Caribbean countries draw firmer lines around who gets to buy, rent, and run businesses in their own backyards? Drop your thoughts in the comments and keep it respectful, all right? This is about economics and culture, not passport wars. Smash that like button if you think property rights matter. Hit subscribe if you want more straight talk Caribbean content where politics meets everyday life. Because in the Caribbean, everything is politics, even who's frying your rice.